In the end of Sefer Bamidbar, we read about the tragedy of the Jewish people not realizing their goal of being able to enter into Eretz Yisrael. And in Parashat Shlach, we read about how the mass of the Jewish people lost the opportunity to enter because of their sin with the Meraglim. But we hope, maybe there'll be great leaders like Moshe, like Aaron, who should be able to enter into Eretz Yisrael. In this week's Parashat Chukat, we find out that Moshe and Aaron won't be entering either. And they won't be entering because of the sin of whatever it is they did wrong at the stone, the sin of the Selah. And it seems surprising that that mistake, whatever it was, would warrant, would justify, would bring such a harsh punishment of the great Aaron, of the great Moshe, not being able to enter into Eretz Yisrael. And I think this is why there's such a struggle to understand what the chait was. First of all, because the Torah doesn't make it clear what it was. The Torah doesn't say it was because of X or Y, which obviously leaves open the room and the need for interpretation. But also to try and figure out what was so terrible that they would be punished so severely of not entering into Eretz Yisrael. And I think what's interesting is to go back to the words of the text itself. When you look at how the Torah does describe what they did wrong, it doesn't say what they did. It says what they didn't do. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe el Aaron, Ya'an lo ha'amantem bi lahakdisheni. The fact that you lacked the belief in me, strength in me, to sanctify my name. It wasn't what they did. It was what they didn't do. It was the opportunity lost that ended up causing them to lose the opportunity to enter into Eretz Yisrael. And if you look at Rashi's words, Rashi presents it this way as well. She'ilu dibartem el hasela v'hotzi hayiti mekudash le'enei ha'edah. Had you spoken to the rock and brought out water that way, you would have generated the Kiddush Hashem. The punishment is not because he hit the rock, but because he didn't bring out the water by merely speaking to the rock, which would have generated a Kiddush Hashem. We see a huge lesson here about life in general and about opportunities. We lose opportunities in our lives when we lack the strength to take advantage of opportunities in our lives. Too often we look at only the mistakes we make and not at the lost opportunities of what we could have accomplished. And this, of course, is how Chazal explain the lesson of Egla Arufa, where a person is found, a dead body, we don't know who killed him. We have to take stock for this. We have to take an Egla, a calf, take to a ravine that's never been worked, an Egla that's never been worked, kill it there. Why would we do that? Chazal explain to appreciate the loss of potential, of human potential, of this human being who's died and what they could have generated. We believe in the value of every moment of life as generating an expectation. The Gemara in Chagiga tells us that someone who could have learned Torah and didn't take advantage of it generates God's crying every day. One of the three types of people God cries about every day. People who could have learned Torah and don't learn. The Gemara in Yevamos tells us that a person who could bring children into the world and doesn't, it's as if they've murdered. Because it's not just what we do, it's what we don't do that's significant. And famously we know that when a Jewish person dies, we tear kriya for them. The Gemara in Shabbat Daf Kuf Hey tells us because it's like a Sefer Torah that's been destroyed. The Maharal asks, why is a human being like a Sefer Torah? What if they've never learned any Torah? And the Maharal says the potential to learn Torah makes one like a Sefer Torah. We evaluate people, we should evaluate ourselves based on the potential of what we can accomplish. Maybe there's nowhere where this is as true as in Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael is the place we're responsible to develop. We're responsible to inhabit and develop. It's not just what we may do wrong there. It's the potential of what we could have invested there, of how we could have lived our lives there. And Moshe and Aaron, when they failed to take advantage of an opportunity, lost this opportunity. We need to ask ourselves regarding our relationship with Eretz Yisrael, whether we take advantage of the opportunities we have to develop it, put in our hands today as opposed to earlier generations, to develop it, to live there, to be there, to appreciate it. If we look back and to conclude, at the words Hashem used, He says, L'ya'an lo ha'amanten bi lahakdisheni. The emunah, that's the backdrop of taking advantage of opportunities. When we truly believe in what we believe, we make sure to maximize every aspect of it. let's make sure that we have enough emunah, that we reaffirm the emunah we're meant to have in Hashem, in our ideology, in Eretz Yisrael, in our life of Torah and mitzvot, to make sure to maximize the opportunities we have, to maximize these opportunities. Shabbat Shalom.